Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm back. I'm sure you missed me, right? Anyway, long story short, Dr. C ringing in, Associate Dean here, Department of Criminal Justice, Southern New Hampshire University Global. And on behalf, as always, of your great faculty, your great instructors, your mentors, and your guides, and your fantastic advisors. Welcome to yet another edition. It's already April 4, etc. And I just want to say I hope everyone is doing well in undergrad. We're in week 6, so the rubber is really hitting the road right now, but I'm sure you're doing all very, very, very well. Remember, it's grit, determination, passion, and perseverance that drives learning. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, I want to give kudos to one of my colleagues, Dr. Lamontage, who oversees the sociology program here at Southern New Hampshire University Global. And she shared a really cool article with me. So if I look this way, it's because I'm going to read some of the stuff to you from the article. And it's entitled 5 Effective Exercises to Help You Stop Believing Your Unwanted Automatic Thoughts. When I saw that, it jumped right off the page. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did that not connect with you? Anyway, if it does, great, because what the author, Dr. Stephen Hayes, has to say is really, really good stuff. So it's good brain candy. Let's put it that way. So most of us, he says, most of us live with a constant stream of internal statements, criticisms, and commands running through our heads. Can't shut them off. But we have a choice. We don't have to let them define us or our days, says the author, Dr. Stephen Hayes, who's a psychology researcher. And he says, here's how we can disentangle ourselves. So I went right after this. I said, you know what? This is something I'd like to share with everybody. So kudos to the doctor and to Dr. Lamontage for sharing this really, really cool article. So let's take a look at it. It says, much of the time, most of us are living in a state of cognitive fusion, fully buying into what our thoughts tell us and allowing them to overly direct our actions and choices. This happens because we're programmed to notice the world as structured by our thoughts, but we miss the fact that we are the ones thinking these thoughts. We're responsible for our own mind, right? And everything it wants to do. The second thing he says, and there's more to it, but I don't want to go on for too long, but he does say, helpful in learning diffusion is understanding the yearning that drives our obsessive self chatter, right? When you can't sleep at night. I know I wake up at 3 in the morning. Sometimes I'm going to solve the world's problems. And it's a nightmare because by the time you have to get up, I'm absolute toast. But that's just me. But anyway, so helpful in learning diffusion is understanding the yearning that drives our obsessive self chatter and problem solving. It's a yearning to create coherence, right? We want things to be smooth and understanding out of our mental cacophony, that noise, right? The constant dribble. And it's a perfectly understandable desire. We feel vulnerable when our thoughts don't fit nicely together, right? Especially when they contradict one another, the little arguments in your mind. The next thing the doctor has to say is the first step in making the pivot away from believing our automatic thoughts is to become aware of just how complicated our thought processes are, right? And it's true because the human brain is a phenomenal machine. No computer can match it. So, one way to start is to give your mind free rein to think for a few minutes and then write down the string of thoughts that emerge. You've probably heard of that exercise before, like journaling. So he did this exercise as soon as he woke up one morning, and he was writing this book, and then he writes his thoughts. He says, it's time to get up. No, it isn't. It's only 6 o'clock. That's 7 hours of sleep. I need 8. That's the goal. I feel fat. Well, birthday cake, duh. I have to eat cake. And he goes on and on and on. I'm going, wow, this sounds like me and probably a lot of you too, right? The next thing he goes on to say is arguing with ourselves come naturally to most of us. In fact, the old cartoon device of the devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other is understood even by small children. When we are deeply focused on a mental task, our minds enter into a state of flow in which our thoughts, emotions, and actions are all temporarily, at least in some semblance of sync, right? They're all together. That's a good feeling. You feel confident, right? But our more usual state, he says, is one of mind wandering, which is often characterized by a good deal of mental disagreement and disengagement. I'll give you one more. How's that? Because I don't want to go on too long because I know you have a lot to do. So, anyway, to get a look at how automatic and circuitous your own thinking is, take a minute to point your thoughts in any direction of your choosing. Then track them as they run their course and write down everything you notice. I'll leave you one more. How's that? After completing this exercise, Repeat it 2 more times, he says, then letting your thoughts run for 1 minute each time. In round 2, imagine that your job is to figure out whether each thought is true or appropriate. In round 3, imagine that your thoughts are like the voices of quarreling first graders. Then adopt the posture of curiosity and amusement, but do nothing except for notice them. So we talked about training the brain, calming your thoughts down, etc. I thought this was a real good supplement to those things we've talked about before. I want to thank everybody for the nice comments, and if there's something you like, hit subscribe, let your friends know. I like to get this stuff out to let you know that behind the scenes here at Southern New Hampshire University Global, and no matter what discipline you're in, we have your back. There are human beings behind the scenes that really understand what you're going through and do everything we possibly can to support you on your academic journey. We've all been there. Some of us are still there, and so we can empathize completely with your situations, all right, to make sure that you academically succeed. So if you need anything, you want to get a hold of me, my email address is j.czarnec@snhu.edu. Okay? Happy to connect, talk, support, network for you, whatever it takes. But once again, good luck in week 6 into week 7, etc. And once again, on behalf of your great faculty and your phenomenal advisors, have a great week.